Welcome back to SnowRunner, guys, and today we are going to be taking a look at Frog's new 2021 Ford Raptor, and we're also going to be seeing it go up against Frog's 2020 Nissan Titan. Now, both of these are sort of modified, but in their stock trim. So essentially what you're looking at is you're looking at a close to stock ride height truck with some slightly upsized tires. Now, this truck is going to be one of Frog's Patreon builds, and if you would like to follow the progress of this build, you can check out his Discord, and if you would like to check out his Patreon, the links to both of those will be in the description box down below. Now, before we get these things out on some trails, because we've already built the Titan, we're gonna need to do a little bit of a build on the Raptor, and fortunately, we have a garage right here that is perfect for just that. So let's go ahead and get into the garage, and like I said before, since this is a stock variant, or a stock-ish variant, you're going to see some very OEM plus style parts. Now, engine-wise, we got a few different options in here. Now, we're going to be using performance today, but I'm really pumped to use the race package in a future video. Now, let's go ahead and throw the performance engine in there. And then gearbox-wise, it's going to be the highway transmission because, again, that's going to give us all of the highway range gears with our low ranges as well. Now, suspension-wise, we got one option because it's the stock suspension. However, this suspension is active and does have a few inches of active lift. Now, tires-wise, you start out with a 35 and you can also go up to a 37, and we have a tremendous list of tires. I mean, I could spend, a half hour going through all of these tires for you guys, but really at the end of the day, you gotta go through these tires yourself. Like, there's so many tire options that it really does make it so that you have almost endless amounts of choice. Now, not only do you have all of these tires, but when you get to the bottom, the list actually repeats with wheels that are a different offset. So if you prefer a little bit of a different offset style, a little bit wider, you can do that as well, both with the 35s and the 37s. Now, since we're doing kind of a stock plus build, what we're going to do is we're going to go up to a 37, but we're going to do the more inset, or the more inward offset. We're going to do that on a 37-inch Maxxis Razor, and the winch is going to be standard, and the hitch is going to be removed because we're not doing any towing in this adventure. We're doing, like I said before, a little bit of overlanding, a little bit of trail riding. Now, roof rack is definitely going to go on, and then side steps wise, we're going to actually go for the KYX steps because I feel like with the 37s, they're a little close to the stock steps. They'd be fine with the 35s, but with the 37s, they're a little close. Now, bed liner, let's see. We could do the bed. We could also do a flatbed, ute tray, like utility bed, all sorts of stuff in here. And keep in mind, this is a work in progress build and other options may be added later on down the road. So keep that in mind. Now, roof lights wise, we're going to go with the circular light bar. I love those on Raptors. And as far as the spare goes, I'll probably remove it for now. Front fenders are going to be staying on, and rear bumper is going to be custom bumper 1. You guys will see that when we leave the garage. It looks really good, though. And then bed add-on wise, I think I'm going to remove the bed cover because I actually like having the bed right there. And then in terms of what we're going to put on the bed, I'm going to do the skinny bed rack because, once again, we're kind of basing this off of a overlanding style build. And then on the front, we are going to go for a LP tube bumper to allow for the extra clearance that we're going to want for these tires. Now, we're going to put some Method race wheels on there because Methods look so good on Raptors, but we also have the options of a Fuel Zephyr and another XD. So let's see, colors wise, I really like this factory orange, but man, it's a Raptor, and I really love the way these things look in blue. Like, blue on a Raptor is just, to me, it's one of the best ways to have one. Now, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get out on the trails and have ourselves a little adventure. So let's see. God, this thing looks so good, though, doesn't it? Let's fire it up. It sounds freaking amazing. And that circular light, well, I say circular, just curved light bar up top, kind of a Baja-style light bar, looks absolutely incredible. Now, what we're going to do is, on the way to the trails, we're going to encourage the Titan to follow us. There's this one right here, like, literally dead ahead, and I think I'm going to go ahead and run this one first. And we're going to run it in the Raptor. We're going to run a section of it in the Raptor, and then we're going to come back and grab the Titan. Now, I'm debating on whether or not I need to go into active lift mode first, but let's see. I'll tell you what. Let's go into... Oh, by the way, tailgate goes down as well. Just in case you want to, throw a quad in there or something. Works really well for that. Now, as you can see, the active lift gives you probably, I would say, 2.5 to maybe 3 inches of lift, which for most situations is plenty. I mean, trails like this, it's going to be absolutely no issue at all. I love using this rock right here as a ramp. It works so well for it. Fortunately, we didn't actually hit the bumper on that rock. I was really worried. That's why I didn't say anything for a second. I was like, no, don't hit the bumper on the rock, please. This part is just a cruise. I mean, you can literally just cruise right up this part of the trail before you get into the trickier stuff. Now, one thing I will say about driving this Raptor is that it's definitely tuned realistically, but it's also tuned in such a way that the suspension seems to absorb all of the bumps in a very comfortable way. Like, it's not at all phased by any of the bumps, even if they are a little bit sharper. God, that view never gets old. That view absolutely never gets old. No matter how many times I come through this trail, that view is just always gorgeous every single time. And I love how actually, like, putting it down into low on the way down really just allows you to use the gearing to control every aspect of your momentum, and because you really can have a immensely realistic wheeling experience or realistic overlanding experience in this truck. It really is mind-blowing how realistic of an experience he's designed for you guys here. So let's put it back in automatic mode, kick the clutch to get it up in a second gear, see if we can pick a decent line over this. We're probably gonna scrape a little, but I feel like that's kind of something you're gonna have to accept sometimes. Oh, did we? Yeah, oh, we did all right. Let me back it up. At the very least, we have some traction left to back it up with. So let me see if I can get it around a little bit further. Yeah, a little bit of a... Well, you know what? Using my slider as a slider. It's gonna happen. Easy. There we go. Ooh, I always forget how steep that downhill is before you go back up into the other side. All right, so let's get you up and over one more little obstacle. There we go. Nice and easy. Actually handled that super well. All right, let's go ahead and park you right there. And then now, we're going to grab the Titan. We're going to see how the Titan does on its way to the same spot. Now, one of the only main differences between the setup on the Raptor and the setup on the Titan at the moment is the fact that the Raptor is on a 37 and the Titan is on a 36. But that's really not, in my opinion, not going to make a gigantic amount of difference. It's literally 1 inch of tire difference. But if we were talking in realistic terms, I mean, a 36 would probably measure out closer to like a 35 / like 35 and a half, depending on what tire manufacturer you went with. Gonna just jump it up and over that rock just a little bit. No worries there. This part, like, literally this first part of the trail is mostly cruising, and that's fine. I mean, the nice thing about this trail is that it builds up in difficulty as you go along. Oh, no, come on. Come on, there we go. Second, third. I'm gonna feather it and high up this hill. I like using high up the steep hills because that way it allows me to keep the constant torque that I like. There you go, nice and easy. What I love about these trucks is that when you drive something in a little bit more of a stock-focused trim, it really does make you treat the map in a different way. It makes you think about things like, oh no, I might actually catch my bumper on this, or oh no, I might actually high center myself on this. Now, I like driving, you know, fully built rigs as much as the next guy, but rigs like this are rigs that you would literally see driving around on the road, driving themselves to the trails, wheeling for a weekend, camping out, and then driving themselves home again, and then driving to work on, you know, on Monday. It really does give a completely different perspective. Now, I'm gonna let the truck roll back just a little bit because I want to try a different line right here. And I didn't try this line in the Raptor, but oh wow, that would have been, because you can actually go diagonally off the side right there, and that is so much better of a line than I took in the Raptor. Okay, now, granted, the Raptor could take that line, no problem, and it would be fine, but in terms of a realistic perspective, I mean, that's definitely the better line to take, so long as you're okay with your truck leaning a little bit. All right, what's up, Raptor? All right, let's go ahead and swap back into the Raptor, and we're gonna probably, I know there's a little bit of body damage on the other side, we're gonna fix that body damage, because I don't really like body damage. Well, nice and easy. Now, there is a optional set of rock obstacles that's coming up, and I'm undecided at this point on whether or not I want to take it, because it is quite challenging, and there are a lot of angles that these trucks may not like, but let's attempt it and see what this thing ends up doing. I'm going to try my best to do it in such a way that I can approach it without getting into an issue. Oh, that's already bad. Yeah, alright. That might not be... Because, see, here's the thing. I'm going to have to approach it diagonally in order to not high center, but approaching it diagonally causes me to roll over. So, I'll tell you what. That will be something that we will revisit when we have a little bit more suspension travel and some slightly bigger tires. Now, coming up on this next little rock garden, this is honestly the type of obstacle that I could totally see a truck like this taking on in real life. I mean, you know, throw it in 4 low and just creep through an obstacle like this. I mean, yeah, you may scrape your skid plates a little bit. You may scrape your rock sliders a little bit, but that is what they're there for in all reality. Like, why would you put them on if you didn't intend on scraping them up a little bit? There we go. Not a bad line at all. And it really is so well balanced with the center of gravity. I really like the suspension setup. And, you know, again, you got to keep in mind, this truck is still being tuned. It's still being, like, really, the setup is still being refined and it's still being set up. And this is in no way, shape, or form the final setup for this truck. So I'm sure he's going to make more and more adjustments as time goes on. Now, let me just ease it through this rock garden so I don't pick up a ton of visual damage. I know I could repair it, but I'm still trying to be, you know, a good bit realistic about this little adventure. Not gonna go up the wash. The wash is nuts. Let me just go ahead and get that out of the way right now. The wash is absolutely nuts, and it's not something, especially in realistic terms, not something I would attempt in a build like this, especially if I was trying to protect my truck. So let's see how it does up this rocky climb. This is going to be a little bit trickier. It's going to require a little bit more careful placement of the truck and a little bit more careful line choice. But I'm thinking if we... Oh, not bad. There we go. Getting some wheel lift going, but that's okay. All right, we're about halfway through. Now, there's definitely going to have to be a little bit of diagonal line here. And as long as I can get it set in a spot where it's got traction... See, it's got traction, but... Oh, it's just getting high-centered on the steps. So let me see if I can go to the left a little bit. And then cut back right. There we go. Easy. It's still on the frame, I think. Got the grip. Got the grip, got the grip. Got to go diagonally through there. Ooh, little bit of rocker damage, but that's all right. Trail damage happens. All right, let's make our way up this guy right here. Again, this is definitely going to require a little bit of, like, diagonal departure, and I did not do that. Oh, come on. Here we go. All right, now turn hard. Not bad. Not bad. It definitely had a little bit of scrapage, but again, that adds to the challenge of it because you really do have to pick your line very, very carefully. All right, let me get you a little bit further on down the trail. Not sure about doing that rock bridge right now in this thing, but let's grab the Titan and see how the Titan follows that up. Easy does it. Whoa, okay. Came into that a little bit too hot. Let's try not to do that the next time. All right, let's ease you on up this hill. Now, in terms of climbing up that rocky hill, I definitely think that we're going to have our work cut out for us, but I think that with proper line choice and learning from the lines we took in the Raptor, I think we can get a pretty clean run at it in the Titan. Now, this little rock garden, again, I'm sure it's going to walk right through most everything here so long as we don't, you know, try to go straight over everything. Going straight over stuff is kind of how you get high-centered in a truck like this anyway, but... You know, it really does highlight, especially like with what we're doing here, it really does highlight that you don't always need like a 54-inch tire to have fun in really not even just on TNB trails, but on any trail riding or rock crawling map in SnowRunner. And if you really want to take a more realistic approach to some of your trail riding, it can be a really fun way to change up the experience that you're getting in the game. Now, again, I love how this trail builds in difficulty, much like a real-world trail would, and this is going to be a really interesting climb. Let's see what we can do here. All right, let's get a little bit of a run at it from the left. Take a very similar line to the Raptor, and it cleared that no problem. Now, I'm not going to try to go straight up that like it did in the Raptor because that didn't go very well. It should be... Oh, yeah, diagonally positioned. Grabbed everything nicely. Oh, nice wheel lift shot right there. Come on. Kind of hit the hit the step/slider in almost the same spot that the Raptor did. But here's where it's going to get a little tricky. I'm going to try and do that same diagonal line that I did in the Raptor, because I'm going to have to let it almost fall into place here. Let it spin around. Dude, that went so well. That went really, really, really well. Much better than I thought it was going to go. Okay, yeah, so these things actually, it's interesting. These things are very similarly matched in capability, but at the same time, they do have different personalities to drive. Now, this is not a bad thing whatsoever, but it feels like the Raptor is bigger, like it drives like it's bigger, but at the same time, like, that could just be because of the fact that I'm running a slightly bigger tire on the Raptor than I am on the Titan. Either way, these are both extremely fun to drive, and I hope you guys enjoyed this more realistic comparison in a very realistic trail riding scenario. Now, once again, if you want more information about both of these trucks, that info is going to be available on Frog's Discord, and the Raptor, of course, is going to be an upcoming Patreon build of his, with many more versions set to come, because again, this is a work in progress. Now, if you guys enjoyed the video and you would like to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on. And also, if you have any thoughts or opinions, let me know any and all of those in the comment section down below. But that's going to do it for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.